Right here I have a mountain of graphics cards, and on my display I have Call of Duty Warzone Verdansk. Verdansk is back. This is bringing back like me starting my channel back 5 years ago. Let's see what combination of graphics card gets us what FPS and what do you need to compete in Verdansk in 2025. Saying Verdansk in 2025 does not sound right. Now, starting at the bottom, we have the RTX 5070 Shadow 2X from MSI. This is the card right here. This thing is insanely small. It is super duper small. I did end up picking this up for $550, which is the MSRP for a 5070. So I'm not that upset about it. I got it through the Newegg Shuffle. Super small card, 250 watt power limit that I did flash to 300 watts with a palette to give me a little bit more performance. Now, we also have the 9070 XT Tai Chi. I've already done a review on this card before. I think I got it for, $720. It has the highest power limit that you can get. It's undervolted, getting the max performance, as well as already torn down. Video on that as well. And then we have my child, basically, the RTX 4090. This one has an XOC BIOS on it to allow for max performance. It is fully overclocked, like 3 gigahertz, plus 1000 on the memory. Super duper fast. The only thing that I could ever upgrade to is a 5090. Hopefully coming soon, if I can get one for a decent price. But I do think that these cards are kind of at like different kind of price gaps, so they should be able to be seen pretty well. We can figure out what do you kind of need and what kind of FPS can you expect, as well as we'll be trying different resolutions. This right here is my LG OLED dual mode. So that means that it's 4K 240 hertz right now, but when I hit this button and give it just a couple of seconds, it is going to turn into, there it is. Look, we are now, let's go into our settings. We are now at 1080p, 480 hertz. Easy. Look at that. This opens up the question of, okay, if you want super high refresh rate, do you need the 4090 at 1080p? Or could you pull off the 5070 because you're not as GPU bound? 4K, it's a little bit different. But we're going to be seeing, we'll be testing 4K, 1440p, and 1080p in all these cards to see what you need to compete. Let's start with the RTX 4090. I'm doing all of these in Verdansk Battle Royale solos. There's also like the casual and plunder. We're gonna use the real actual game that people are gonna be playing and needing max FPS in. Also, the CPU is my 9950X3D running at max 2x16 6000 CL 2133 FCOK. Where are we dropping, boys? I'm gonna do something that's kind of gonna always be in the zone. I'm feeling downtown. Right here. Yep, let's land. All right, standing on this building near kind of stadium, looking directly southwest, I am getting 250 FPS at 4K on the 4090, 99% GPU usage, 3 gigahertz, 370 watts. So that's pretty good. That's getting the highest refresh rate you can get at any of these displays at 4K. Dropping it now to 1440p. Let's see what we get. Confirm. Here we are, same spot. We're going up to 312, 313. So if you have like a 360 hertz OLED, like you're gonna be doing pretty good. Throw on some VRR. Not bad. Oh, let's look at GPU usage also. 86. So that means you're not gonna be GPU bound. This is all CPU at this point. There might be some scenarios, but dropping down to 1080p, we now have, guys, I gotta make sure I'm not getting killed too. That's why I'm kind of trying to do this a little fast. We are at, oh yeah, 308, 313. We're CPU bound now. 76%, like the GPU usage went down, but the FPS is the same. Clear sign of a CPU bottleneck here. Maybe need a D-lid to this chip. Overclock it a little bit more. ECOK it. But yeah. But look at the power draw dropping like 150 watts or something crazy. 225 instead of like 370. So yeah, pretty good. Pretty much with the 4090, you're getting the same FPS at 1080p, 1440p. Just use 1440p. Get one of those nice OLEDs that you can get. Get that higher fidelity, get that high, nice looking display. You're probably not gonna get the monitor's refresh rate, so just use variable refresh rate. That's gonna be perfectly fine. You're not gonna have any issues. But now let's test out the little tiny card, the RTX 5070, and see how this thing holds up. because I'm a little skeptical that this is going to match the 4090. But let me finish out this game first. I'm low-key enjoying Warzone, playing games. Side note though, if you cap your FPS to 240 with the 4090, you kind of alleviate that GPU bottleneck a little bit. This is probably what I'd run for most people, honestly. This is what I'm going to be playing on for the 4090. 4090 on the bottom, 5070 on top. Only time this will probably ever be said. Look at the size difference. Like, huh? Hand for reference. This thing is so tiny that it's kind of impressive. And like, that kind of does make... There is an appeal to this card just because of its size. But how does it perform? It's really what matters. The 5070 is installed. We're running at almost 3.2 gigahertz. VRAM is fully maxed out plus 2000 to get that full GDDR7. We are pulling 230 watts, 99% GPU usage at 187 FPS in 4K. Like, that's fine. Let's see real quick though, because you know Jensen loves a little frame gen. Let's turn this on and let's just see what happens. Do I gain any FPS? I lost FPS. What? Anyways, that's weird. Thanks, Jensen. Really appreciate that. But now let's flip to 1440p and let's see. Do we get any FPS difference? Okay, 250 FPS, 88% GPU usage, 90. So we're still kind of GPU bound, but like 250 isn't bad. If you had a 240 hertz OLED, it'd be pretty good. And yeah, I think also for the price, it's not bad. 280 watts, not bad. Not bad at all. 1080p though, let's see how this does. This is kind of where I'm thinking this card might be the best at. 150 watts, like very, very power efficient right here. And 300 FPS, yeah, look. This is kind of almost like 2021 performance that you were getting on a 3090. Almost like they kind of perform the same. Like the 5070 isn't bad for $550 for sure. Like, is it doing pretty good 1440p performance, 240 FPS? Absolutely. Is it getting good FPS in 1080p? Yeah. Is it a 4K card? Absolutely not. I'm not expecting to play 4K competitive games on it. But now it's time for Team Red to see what they can do. I'm thinking they're going to do a little bit better. 9070 XT is installed. It is undervolted, 2700 megahertz fast timings on the VRAM, 3.2 gigahertz. Interesting enough though, this is not being fully utilized at 4K, which is something I did not expect. We're getting 200 FPS at 260 watts. Probably the most efficient, way more efficient than the 5070 actually. Let's turn on frame gen. So let's see what happens. We go to 200. Pretty good. I'm getting shot at. Sorry guys, had to handle that situation, but 250 FPS with frame generation enabled. Pretty good actually, but we're gonna turn it back off now, and then we are going to go to 1440p. See what happens. Let's see how this performs. Typically AMD actually is pretty good in Call of Duty. That's kind of why I'm impressed. 270 FPS. Yeah, like look. Is that as good as the 4090? No. But also, this is half the price of a 4090. 270 FPS is definitely something that you can kind of do very well in. Let's see, confirm. And now 1080p 270. Seems like that's kind of the max for this GPU itself. But now, which one of these should you buy? And what should you use if you have these cards? What settings? Time for a conclusion on what you should use these GPUs for in Call of Duty Warzone and Verdansk. The 5070, this one's perfectly fine at 1080p. I think you chill. 1440p, I'm going to say 240 hertz OLED. Definitely an OLED. You want that OLED so you can get those fast response times. Just, no 4K. No. 9070 XT. This thing can kind of do 4K. Like, you're going to have to be okay with not hitting 240 FPS all the time. 1440p, this thing does like 270. I don't know why, but this thing was just kind of, it kind of did well at 4K. 1440p, 1080p, we're like, 1440p, 360 hertz, definitely an OLED. Yeah, that's what I'd say. The RTX 4090, everything. 1080p, dude, if it can do, it can definitely do 1080p. 1440p, get yourself one of those really high-end monitors. I feel like definitely at least a 1440p 360 Hz OLED. Look for those 480 Hz, the brand new 500 Hz coming out. Those seem pretty cool. Personally, what I'm going to be running with my OLED here is I'm going to be running 4K 240 Hz with a cap through River Tuner so that I can get the lowest delay and not be as GPU bound. I think that's going to be the play, and definitely this is the card to get unless you can get a 5090 for Warzone. Let me know how you guys like this video. Let me know down below what FPS you're getting at that spot in Verdansk. I would really like to know, as well as just like, are these cards even interesting? I feel like the 5070 actually is very good. They're all pretty much in the same power draw window, like 300 and 4090 pulled the most, but it did the best. So efficiency wise, I guess they're kind of equal. Hope you guys have enjoyed. Hit that like button down below, subscribe, become a member of the Discord if you have not already to support me directly, as well as just talk about tech, get a little more information and insight. Hope you guys have enjoyed. Let's play some Warzone, boys. See you guys later. Peace.